I'm not expecting to do a review for every issue of the new High Republic comic series. Maybe, we'll see. But with this whole publishing effort kicking off, I feel like I should at least offer my impressions of the first issue, written by Cavan Scott with art from Ario Anindito. There will be some spoilers for the comic if you haven't read it yet, and some slight spoilers for Light of the Jedi if you haven't finished that. But I like the comic. The story starts near the end of Charles Soule's novel, Light of the Jedi, and ends alongside the book's ending. People keep asking me about reading order, and I would say to read Light of the Jedi before this. There are some slight spoilers for the book, nothing major, but events are referenced. The comic is centered around a Padawan named Keeve Trennis going through her Jedi trials to graduate, but that's interrupted by some dangerous creatures whose migrating patterns have been changed thanks to Starlight Beacon, the New Republic space station that is central to all of the other High Republic stories. Keeve has to abandon her trial to save those in need, and of course, that was the right choice to make, and so she is knighted into a full-fledged Jedi Knight. I really like Keeve as a character. She has been described as someone who doesn't fully know how to take her new position as a knight. Surrounded by greatness, she doesn't know how to act, and that all comes through, and it's very endearing. Avar Kriss from Light of the Jedi seems to have a major role in this series as well. She is named Marshal of Starlight Beacon, and I believe the comic will be centered around the station. I also really like that the story immediately shows us some complications and consequences for the Jedi and the Republic venturing out into the Outer Rim. The Republic is expanding, and it can bring a lot of good to planets and people who need it, but there's also potential for disaster. Moving into an area you don't fully understand is going to have unforeseen effects, and the Jedi pretty easily deal with this problem, but I expect we will see a lot worse unfold. I thought both Light of the Jedi and A Test of Courage had really great hooks in the final chapters to keep me wondering what's going to happen next, and Scott pulls off the same thing with the Trandoshan Jedi Master Skier. He goes through a loss in Light of the Jedi, and it's still affecting him in this story. Other Jedi Masters have noticed, and frankly, it makes sense. The Jedi have been operating in a time of peace for 8 centuries. They probably haven't lost very many knights due to violence in a long time. And now the Great Disaster and the Nile come along, and there are significant losses. Skier doesn't seem to be taking it well. In the last few images, he is full of rage and despair. This could be similar to a vision Elzar Mann has in Light of the Jedi, or maybe this is all Skier's emotional state. I'm not sure yet, but I definitely want to find out. And I want to point out the art in this issue. I'm bad about doing that when I review comics. I mostly talk about the writing. I don't really know how to talk about comics because I almost exclusively read Star Wars comics and nothing else. But I do know that Anindito's art style is one of my favorites Marvel Star Wars has done so far. The last little thing I want to mention is a connection with the upcoming IDW comic series, The High Republic Adventures by Daniel Jose Older. Yoda makes a very brief appearance and talks about his time on the Starhopper, which will be his home base in the Kids series as he travels the galaxy and teaches his students. So yeah, so far so good. I feel like comics are a little harder to review. I tend to talk about arcs at a time so we get a more full story, but I felt it was appropriate to chime in for this occasion. I remember being surprised that many of the writers for the High Republic were kind of swapping jobs. I figured Charles Soule would tackle the comic, and Scott and Older would have novels. Gray and Ireland wrote what I expected, but everyone else is swapping around, and so far it's working great. It's so good to see each author's flexibility, especially because they're going to continue handling multiple stories in different media. Scott is taking on the next novel, Ireland is writing the next YA book, which is what she normally writes outside of Star Wars. Older is doing the next middle grade story. I look forward to seeing how the High Republic continues to take shape. But so far, I have been very pleased. So let me know what you thought of the first issue of the comic in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.